It's Chris from Laser Lemming and UpandLoaded.com. Today, I'm doing a video while sitting down. I am sitting down and speaking to you at the same time. I'm a great multitasker. So, I want to talk to you about prices. Video game prices and Trump. So, President Trump, you might have heard of him. He's been in the news a lot lately. He's been signing a lot of executive orders since becoming president like a week ago. And one of the orders he signed, much to the delight of the Young Turks, is the Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP. He has withdrew the United States from the TPP group, the countries that were all joining together in this union. He has said, you know what? The United States, my people in the United States are not going to be a part of this. Barack Obama really wanted this to be a thing. Trump said no. And before you go, because I know you're getting bored, but before you go, understand that this does affect you. This does affect you because you play video games. If you're watching this video, you play video games or you sit around and watch people that do. So let me explain how this affects you. Video game prices, as you might have seen from the title, may go up. They might get more. They might get more. That's the good English. That's the good grammar, the well grammar for you. So prices may go up. See, video games are very popular all around the world. They are made in America, but they are made elsewhere as well. In fact, you might say that most video games are not made in America. That's just my personal opinion. That's the way Peggy Hill would explain this. So, video games are made in Japan and Europe and Canada and South America and Mexico. They're made all over. But by withdrawing from TPP, there is a chance that a tax may be added to anyone that wants to bring a game over to the United States. So they want to export it to us and we want to import it from them. So say Super Mario Odyssey. That game is being developed in Japan, probably printed in China, and it's going to be shipped over to the United States and to Europe and to other countries as well. But the United States is the one that might start imposing this tariff. And the idea of the tariff, it's a tax. Let's say it's 20%. It's about to be 20% probably, if Trump gets his way, on Mexico. He wants to tax Mexico a 20% tax on anything that they want to bring over to the United States, be it any kind of fruit or any kind of thing that they produce over in Mexico that we consume. It could be bananas, apples, cocaine, marijuana, whatever it is, we're going to tax it by 20%. The idea is for him to be able to fulfill a campaign promise, namely being the border wall between the United States and Mexico. So this is the same central idea that's behind pulling us out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The same idea. He said it was a bad deal. Like I said, the Young Turks are very happy about this. They also agree with Trump. They said this is a bad deal. And regardless of whether or not you agree with him, this may affect you. You might be seeing that $60 video game go up to $70 because they'll round it up. They're not going to charge you $66. That's a weird number. Maybe $65. Maybe $70. Probably $70 because, hey, fuck it. They want more money, right? So there's no official tax that's been floated yet. There's no official tax saying, hey, anything that comes from China, anything that comes from Japan or Europe, we're going to charge 20%, 10% extra on top of it, a tax. So if Nintendo or any company in Europe, like a Ubisoft or anybody in Canada, wherever they're from, another country, a non-United States country, if they produce a video game, and China's probably the one printing the actual physical copy, the physical Switch cartridge, and they send it over here, there's going to be an extra tax. So the company themselves, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, whoever is bringing the game over here is going to have to pay more money. If they have to pay more, they are not making as much on the game as they would have. So say you pay $60 for that game, but they had to pay a higher tax. Well, these companies have investors. They are not privately owned companies for the most part. They have to answer to people. And if their profits aren't up the same way, year over year, they start to lose money. That's the dumbed down basic version that I can explain. So that is how, essentially, it all boils down. That is how you might be seeing more expensive video games. You might be seeing a $70 Switch game or a $70 PS4 game, $80 Xbox One game, whatever it is. I mean, I know you're already seeing it. Like I said, I had a last video about Injustice 2. By the way, correction on that. I said that the deluxe version of that game was $70, even though my own screenshot clearly said it was $80. So that's my bad. But that's my point. All right, so video games already, developers have figured out ways to charge more for video games. $60 was the new standard in the last gen. Microsoft kicked it off. The Xbox 360, they started charging $60 for brand new games. I believe Microsoft said that, you know what, we're going to let third parties price it how they want to, being $60. But first party games, we're going to stick to $50. Perfect Dark Zero, that shit came out at $50 at the Xbox 360 launch. But they did not stick to their word, and Microsoft did raise the price to $60. So it became a standard quickly. $60 video games. Sony did the same thing when the PlayStation 3 launched a year later. $60 video games. Nintendo was the only company at the time to stick to the $50 standard. But to their credit, or lack thereof, the Wii, which was out at the same time, did not have to push nearly the same amount of high-res textures or anything demanding like that. Meaning, they didn't have to spend as much to develop Wii games as they did on the 360 and the PlayStation 3. So, Nintendo eventually got on board with the Wii U, started charging $60. Switch, they're fully on board. The Switch is a little bit more of a compromise because it is a console, it's a handheld, it's a hybrid, it's peanut butter and chocolate, it is everything, but because it has the console aspect and the handheld aspect, the pricing is all over the place. And I think that's a very good thing because before the 360 PS3 days, there was more variety in the pricing. Specifically, I'm remembering the GameCube, PS2, Xbox days. You had games that came out at $40. There was the $50 standard, and then you had games like Metal Arms, Glitch in the System. That was a, what would you call that? I think you'd call that a mid-tier game, a middle, let's call it a double A game. You know, you got your triple A's, your single A's, and your double A's. We'll call that a double A game. What I'm saying is that it didn't cost as much to produce as a game like Halo 2, but it wasn't as cheap to make as a game like Alien Hominid. I'm pulling deep here. I don't know if you're following me at all, but what I'm saying is that game prices might go up. And what that means is that game sales will go down. 100%. 100% sure. Unless Trump just creates a brand new thriving economy, people will not be able to afford as many games. It's as simple as that. You got all three console makers charging to play online now. We don't know how much Nintendo's going to charge, but we know Sony and Microsoft are both charging $60 a year just to play online. You got video game prices that start at $60, at least on the PS4 and the Xbox One, and then they go up. You have Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. The real version that everybody really bought was the super deluxe one that came with the Modern Warfare Remastered. That's the one people wanted, so they had to pay $80. And now you got Injustice 2. It's got the boring $60 version, the $80 version with a couple of things, and the $100 version. They are able to get people to pay $100 for a single game that has DLC down the line. They're not calling it a season pass, but that's what it is. You're paying for shit you don't have yet. But they figured it out. They already have a system. Electronic Arts, Activision, Ubisoft, all of these companies already have a system. It's to pretend that, yeah, we're releasing this game at $60 when in fact they are not. They are not. Because they have figured out a way to act like $60 is the game. But what they do now is they plan it all out ahead. They say, okay, well, we have this game. We have all these ideas. We're going to take this, move it to the season pass or whatever we're going to call it these days, and we're going to put these little chunks for pre-order. So many games these days. You can pre-order, and it depends on where you get the pre-order, that you might get this item or this level or this skin or this pack of whatever. I'm going on a bit of a rant here. My point is that if video game prices do go up, we will see a downward trend in the industry. Maybe we'll move more towards mobile because, mobile is all digital. I don't know how Trump will figure out how to tax that, especially if the digital game was developed in Japan or Europe or Mexico. I don't know. They'll figure out a way to tax that too. The idea is to reinvigorate the American workforce. Even though the whole world is becoming more automated, Trump has garnered a lot of support from Middle America, which has lost a lot of jobs in the coal mining industry and just the energy industry in general. A lot of things that have become automated. And he's swelled up a lot of support from people that want American jobs back. And I think it might be a temporary fix, but at the same time, it's really ignoring the larger world we are in now. Things are moving. Things are changing. And, we'll see who's right in the end. But unless the economy just booms along with the increase in prices, a lot of people think that interest is just going to go up all over the place. And I know this is boring to you. I know. But it does affect you. It does affect you if it happens, of course. So let me know your thoughts. Would you be willing to pay $70 for the $60 version of a game? Once upon a time, it was the $50 version of a game. And maybe some of you will say, hey, I remember a time when video games came out at $100. I do too. I remember looking for Super Nintendo cartridges with my little brother, and we had to save up. And we didn't pay $50 for a game. We didn't pay $60 for a game. We paid like $70 for Batman Forever. Really crappy game. Really crappy game. Batman Forever on the Super Nintendo. We paid like $70 for that together. And back in the early 90s, that wasn't chump change. So, I don't know where I'm going with this anymore. Let me know your thoughts. Comment section below. Would you be willing to pay $70 if it means a greater America? It means more jobs are in America. Brazil, I meant to mention this. Brazil already has something that I think is kind of similar. I might be talking completely out of my ass, but video game prices in Brazil, if you're not aware, Brazil is a country in South America, but video game prices, and probably prices for many other things that are imported, are absurd. Sony released the PlayStation 4 in Brazil about 3 years ago, and they released it at a price of $1,849 and change, American. In Brazil, it was about 4,000 Brazilian dollars. 4,000. But let's speak American. Let's speak U.S. U.S. currency, $1,800. System launched in America for $399, $400. That's because of taxes, mostly. It was like 62% of it. Sony broke it down because Sony's not a fan of charging this much either. Sony broke it down and said 62% of this price is all taxes from your country. Nintendo is so fed up with it, they haven't even bothered releasing a lot of systems in Brazil. Or a few. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass a little bit. But Brazil's kind of a country to look at because the whole idea with Brazil, from what I understand, is kind of similar. To keep things in Brazil. We're trying to keep things in America, and I get the sentiment, I get the idea, it's to create a strong country, but you kind of hurt the country at the same time. At least when it comes to getting something that they want from another country that maybe we don't produce, like a Nintendo Switch or a PlayStation 4, or for that matter, an Xbox One, because I'm sure as shit that thing is produced, created, manufactured in China, because everything is cheaper to make in China, including your Xbox One, made by and designed by an American company. So be prepared for that. Be prepared for that. It might not just increase the price of your games, it might increase the price of your consoles as well. Mine too. I don't like it. Let me know your thoughts. Comment section below. Subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll see you soon.